Oh, it's right here. These are going to be Persis' introspective thoughts for YouTubers that may see this. See, this is the beauty. Although I know many people do not like and or support TikTok. See, I don't even get into the politics of anything. But I'll be honest with you. For anybody that still hasn't gotten a TikTok, I'll be honest with you. You're just missing out on so much. Because I just come on here and I just talk and I just give more and more and more free stuff. More and more wisdom, more and more knowledge, more and more tips, more and more advice. And sometimes it's beneficial to just have it. Even if you just follow me and stay on your following page. You're scheduled in my planner. Perfect. On the verge of a spiral. Don't worry. Me when Persis goes live. As you should. All right, I have 12 minutes. I need somebody to keep me accountable for the timing. Just got off a client call. And I immediately wanted to capture the thoughts in my head right now here with you guys. I have 12 minutes to not only feed myself, but to also speak this out. So bear with me here. This is going to be a little bit more of an impromptu live in case they're all not that way. I spoke with a lovely gentleman this morning, and this is the theme. He was like, I just struggle with seeing 3D movement. I just struggle with that. I struggle with seeing 3D movement. And that's the problem as to why I just can't have hope or belief or faith, because here are the circumstances. There may be another man involved. We are in no contact. The last time I spoke with her, I accidentally may have said this or this, and I never clarified it. And, you know, he literally would list out like 10, 12, 15 different circumstances. I'm worried about the other person. Is he more established? Is he more wealthy? Is he more this? Is he more that? All these things, right? And believe me when I say, I am empathetic. I am empathetic. I know exactly what you mean. No part of me is sitting here and being like, oh, I don't understand what's wrong with these people. Why can't they just think better? No, I get it. I completely and totally understand. All I'm trying to say is this. If you keep, all right, I'm going to have to do an omelet flip here, so you guys are going to have to go right there. If you keep at that, we're not going to get anywhere. And by you sitting here and being the reporter to all these tangible things that are happening, you're never going to be capable of getting where you want to get. I'm not telling you to be delusional. I'm not. Don't get me wrong here. What I'm trying to say, though, is this. The people that are not or getting stuck on, I just can't have faith, or I just can't do this because I'm not seeing anything in the 3D. Let me ask you an important question. An important question. Do you actually believe any part of the story that you've told yourself? Meaning your ideal story. Call yourself out in the comments down below and ask yourself, for people that are struggling with seeing 3D movement, the subject is why certain people can't see 3D movement. Why are you, no matter how hard you work, no matter how religious you are with your routine, can't get 3D movement, and how to unblock that? That's the subject. My question is this. How many of you are actually convinced of any part of your story mentally? How many of you are convinced of any part of it? Any part of it. And are you expecting something to show up out there before you actually believe it? Because the problem is this. You cannot expect 3D movement if no part of you is on board. That's inverse manifestation. That's saying I want something before I'm convinced of it. Why isn't it working? Boo-hoo-hoo-hoo, let's back this tractor trailer up here. That's not even how manifestation works. We cannot expect externally what we are not convinced of internally. So my question is, how many of you are actually convinced of your new story where your frustration on 3D movement is justified. Because the only way you can expect the 3D to move is if you get this in check. If you get this in check, I don't even want to hear complaining. I don't even want to hear complaining, because that's like saying, Persis, give me the results before I do the work. Let's be honest. That's not how we get things. That's not how we get things in the world. That's not even how manifestation works. That's not even how manifestation works. Oh my God, my omelet is beautiful. I'm standing because, oh, that was close. I have 12 minutes or 7 minutes now between me and my next client call, and I also need to feed myself. So you guys are going to come along with me because I wanted to capture this. I asked my gentleman on the call this. I said, what part of you is actually convinced of your new story, that it can happen now, it could happen later, or that it has already happened, meaning past, present, and future? How much of you is actually convinced of your new story? And he's like, I'm not convinced of it. I'm like, well, then why are you expecting 3D movement? Some of you are treating the actual changing of assumptions as if they're electives in college, like something you can or cannot take. I need you to understand something. This is a core subject. This is a pay the cover charge or stand outside the club and be happy. Stand outside the club. Because that's like saying, I don't want to pay the cover charge, but let me in. That's not how it works. You pay the cover charge or you leave and you be happy with wherever you're going. Is this clicking? Is this clicking? Some of you are treating the 3D movement as I'm waiting for the 3D to change, then I'll change my assumptions, like I'll do it then. I'll do it later on. I'll do it later on. I'm not going to do it now. Some of you are treating it as, this is an elective. This is not an elective. This is a core subject. If you don't do it now, you will never be capable of seeing results. So at that point, and this is not to dissuade people, but this is just to wake people up out of their slumber. Because we talk about manifestation 101 all the time. All the time. Because some people just keep forgetting how this works. We cannot expect outside stuff to move. It's not going to move. If you're waiting for the 3D, your reality to shift before you've actually made a new belief, you will wait for years on end. And you will keep going on this routine. You will keep going off this routine. You will keep going in. You will keep going out. And you will never get it. Never get it. My voice is cracking because I'm talking a lot. You will never get it. I don't say that to be the strict superintendent, but I kind of say that to be the strict superintendent. You have to shift within and then see the stuff outside. I'll put this on YouTube. I'm reading some of your comments now because I need to put food in my body. Is any part of this unclear? And are any of you struggling with, I just want movement. I just want movement. But you don't actually have a belief yet. Remember, if you just do a routine just to get something and to stick your hand out to the universe, that will also never bring you it. Let me get so clear here. If you're just doing a routine to check off an attendance list and say, okay, I did my affirmations today, the name of the game is not do a routine even. The name of the game is shift your assumptions. When you convince yourself mentally that you have are going to have, or it's possible to have this thing, whatever it may be, that's when you get what you want. Even if you just do a routine mindlessly, but the routine doesn't actually convince you mentally, it still doesn't matter. You will not get it. Even people that robotically affirm, the science behind robotically affirming is that you eventually shift your reality to be convinced of it. But the problem with some people that fail in robotic affirming is they're saying something to get something, rather than saying it to genuinely feel better within themselves. And what I'm trying to say, if you don't have the big girl, big boy mindset of, if I don't actually get my stuff together and feel better within myself and do this for myself first, even if I get them right now, I'm going to lose them again. I am going to lose them again because I don't feel good with myself. Take a higher perspective and kick this person off the pedestal. They are not going to die by you not affirming for them the 10,000th time. Naturally, your hyperfixation on them hasn't gotten you anywhere. It's time to try a new approach. It's time to try a new approach. The people that have the perspective of, I need to feel better within myself, and I need to convince myself that this can, will, or is happening right now, are the ones that get the success stories. So if you want to be a success story, that's your work. The sooner you can convince yourself that you have, you're going to have, or you've already gotten this situation, the sooner your 3D warps. I've had people on the brink of divorce come back from that in less than 14 days. I had a woman get a man head over heels obsessed with her in 3. Her DMs are flooded with men pursuing her. I have a guy whose woman wanted to move countries and leave him for somebody else because she didn't think he was compatible with her. She's now talking marriage and kids with that man and a future together. This stuff works provided you do the one required task. Convince yourself of this new story, that it is going to, or has already happened. That is your only work. That is your only work. I don't care what circumstances you guys are putting in the chat. It really doesn't matter. Like I mentioned before, what happens if it's been 10 years? What happens if they're with somebody else? What happens if they live on Jupiter? What happens if Mercury is in retrograde? What happens if this? Did you change your assumptions? I'm going to be real strict with you guys because apparently this is the only language you understand. Did you change your assumptions? Are you still engaging in negative behavior that's shifting your beliefs in the wrong direction? Are you convinced of your new story? If not, get on it. Get on it. Or there is another option, be satisfied without it. Because the law is not going to rework itself for our insecurities, for our doubts, for our worries, for our concerns. It's not going to restructure itself and create a new pattern for our problems. It's not. This is the cover charge. You pay it or you go somewhere else. That's the attitude of the universe, law of assumption, or quantum physics, however you want to put it. That's the attitude that the universe has. Because the universe is not convinced by you playing pretend in your 3D reality and saying, yeah, I believe it. Do you think that you're convincing or tricking the universe? Oh my God, it's so much smarter than us. It's so much smarter than us. Do you think that you're actually convincing the universe? That is hysterical. No way you think that. And if you think that, let this be the wake-up call. You're not convincing the universe by you playing pretend. Do you think by you faking it that the universe is like, oh, yes, she's faking it. He's faking it. Now I can give them what they want. What? You're not faking it good enough. And you're not going to get it by faking it. You're not going to get it by faking it. You have to actually become it. You have to actually become it. I love you guys so much that I made myself 3 minutes late to my next call. If that's not love, I don't know what is, but I have to go. You're deluding yourself, not the universe. Love that, Sophia. I'll put this on YouTube.